who is from US? Like, raise your hand. All right, and then there was a lot of international players. Who else from international? Awesome. So the reason I asked that is because it really does help when you're talking to somebody. And the way I'm going to frame this for you guys is the past, present, and future of networking. And I really do want to start off with a story because it's a story of a man named Al Martin. He's in the picture right there, right next to me. This guy, met him second week of my career. So who's freshman in the room? Any freshmen? So imagine 2 weeks in, I went to church. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go test this church out. I met this guy. And I'm sitting in the lobby with him. And I tell him, hey, my name is Joey Sanchez, goalkeeper at Jacksonville University from Houston, Texas. He chuckles and says, that's funny. I went to JU. I played on the first JU soccer team, and I lived in Houston for 23 years. And so instantly, that connection happened. He was telling me about the streets. Zach, you know, like you were talking about the Heights. I go there, you know, I drive down those streets. It connects people. Inti, you're talking about Cuba. You know, my dad grew up in Cuba. You know, those connections, the past really does connect. So when you guys have that connection to somebody, and that's what the JU soccer team is. You guys are building that past with this team that's going to last a lifetime. I can tell you 1,000 stories about Drew Lear. He can tell 1,001 about me, but that's for another time. And those are the types of stories that you'll never forget, even if you want to try. But yeah, building those relationships, it really does start with the past, aligning people's past and understanding them. You guys are all seeing what's happening in this world today with social justice. It's a misalignment of understanding of people's past and where they really lived and how they lived. And so, you know, Mr. Martin and I, we connected instantly. He actually took me to his house. His wife cooked me dinner that night, and he showed me yearbooks from 1960 with the very first JU soccer team. He also played on the JU baseball team, and he was a member of the U.S. Marine Corps. So when you're talking about a badass alum, he's right there. Really, and he lives in Arlington, right down the road from you guys. He's now 87 years old, and I talk to him on a monthly basis. So that's a story that I hope resonates with you, because you'll never know when you find a JU alum. Could be in your own backyard, could be, you know, 100 miles, it could be around the world. But finding that common bond, connecting with the person, that's the foundation to any relationship, any network.
Hey, Joey.
You know, I put 9, 10. So I graduated with my undergrad in 09, and then I finished with my MBA in 10. And it's all happened because my freshman year, 4 weeks into the season, I broke my wrist. So as goalkeeper, where's my goalkeeper? Who's the goalkeepers in the team? All right. I broke my wrist freshman year, 4 weeks in. I actually got the starting spot while I broke my wrist. I thought it was a sprain. And then the team flew to Gonzaga to play Pacific Northwest, and I got to stay home. So I medically redshirted, and that was devastating, but ended up being one of the best things that ever could have happened in my life, because of all the different aspects that happened after that. In 2008, maybe it was 07, 08 season, we won the ASUN regular season and made it to the finals of the tournament and lost in PKs. In 09 or 08, 09, we got second place in the regular season, went into the tournament. Drew will remember this. And we won against Campbell 4-3. That picture right there. And Coach Mao was telling me about, you know, hey, maybe we should watch that game over again. I hope not. It was the worst game of my entire career. Literally, you'll see it. A shot from about 40 yards out hits me right in the hands and goes in. It was a poor performance on my part, but when you're talking about teamwork, dedication, and seeing a team rally together, that game really propelled us into the NCAA tournament, where we beat Louisville 17-degree weather. It was an amazing game. Tied 3-3, go into overtime. Within 2 minutes, we score the winning goal. And that's in the NCAA tournament, somewhere I know none of y'all have been. And that's where you want to go, because that's the national stage. That's when you guys are at the very, very top of your game. Hopefully you can make it past where we did. We got to the second round, lost to UNC Chapel Hill, 1-0. I think we outshot them that game. We outplayed them that game, and the cards just didn't fall for us. So with my red shirt, I ended up being able to stay for my 2010 year, get my MBA, got it paid for through assistant coaching or coaching assistant, and really did change the trajectory of my career, because 08, 09, 10 wasn't the best time to come out of college, as you guys are probably experiencing right now. Like, it's not that enticing to leave because the job market's so poor, right? Well, it's happened before, and I think through networking, you really will be able to take it and actually get a job. So if you're thinking about jobs, this is how you do it. If you're not there yet, if you're still a freshman, sophomore, well, you got to graduate first. And that's actually a lot harder than getting a job, because there's so many different things coming at you when it comes to graduation. You know, you got to graduate. Then once you graduate, you move on to the career. To give you a little insight of what I do. So, like, you know, I don't know if this was in my bio, but I'm director of corporate engagement for Houston Exponential. What that means is I am the sole employee to work with the Fortune 500 companies here in Houston. We have 26 Fortune 500s. That's second behind New York City, who has about 35. And my role is to connect the corporate world with the startup world. So one of the future alums that may be on this call is actually a startup founder. He's created a coaching platform named Danny Faga, and he's created a startup. He's gotten seed round about 100,000. He's probably going to go for more money in the future. But I mean, you guys all know Facebook. You know the story of Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg coding in his college dorm room where you guys are sitting now. Now he's got one of the richest companies in the world. His tech startups that grow, become unicorns, that's what we're working on in Houston. San Francisco, New York, those are the main two areas for startups in America. Austin, Texas is literally 3 hours down the road, and Houston was being left behind when it came to startups. So they created Houston Exponential. You can check us out, houstonexponential.org. You can see what we're doing. We're bringing in investment from the coast. We're creating new startups. We're helping entrepreneurs reach their max. So anybody who's in business, anybody who's, you know, working in computer engineering by any chance, software development, stick with it. It's the future. Like, that's why I got in it, because I'm not going to be stuck behind a desk and working for an oil company forever. You got to figure out ways to be future focused. And that's what I did. So Houston Exponential is my company. We created this tech event called Houston Tech Rodeo back in March. It coincides with the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, which is the largest rodeo in the world. And we're injecting tech into the conversation. So robotics, AI, machine learning, all these buzzwords that you're probably hearing from your professors if you're in those fields is what we're working on. And we're trying to bring that to market so that Houston becomes an attractive place for them to start their startup. So I only say that to tell you, you know, if you have a startup, let me know. I'll easily find you a couple $100,000, maybe $1 million to continue that idea. And hopefully you grow your business and become like these other tech entrepreneurs out there. Also,
Joe, just real quick, you mentioned Faga. Did you help him out with his startup?
I didn't. I found out about him about 2 months ago. His platform is literally an all-in-one coaching platform.
We're using it.
You're using it.
Yeah.
Look at that. See?
Coach Better. Yep. He's reached out. We sampled it in the spring, and it's a great tool for us to use it internally.
That's badass. I mean, you'll meet Faga. He'll probably do one of these in the future. He's a normal JU soccer player who had an idea, got maybe a technical co-founder, and they started to build. And so that's my role in a nutshell in Houston. And, you know, Zach, when you come back to Houston, if you need an internship, if you need, you know, anything on my end, I have a Rolodex of thousands of companies in Houston. It's just a phone call for me. You get a job, you get an interview, you get an internship, you got it. Anybody else that wants to come to Houston, I got you too. Because that's the thing, is I love my city, I love my school, and it should be obvious, but if it's not, I'll tell you over and over and over during this presentation. So this presentation is about networking, okay? You guys all network. It's what you do, digitally, physically, at a bar, if you're 21, right? At a party, at a restaurant, whatever it is, you guys all network. But there's a formula to networking, there is. And some it may come natural, it may be easy for you, some not so much. Maybe you're an introvert and extrovert, but the formula that I prescribe here is to focus on the past, be present, and look forward. So you must connect with someone via their experiences or expertise. For Inti and Zach, it's based on location. You know, we have some sort of connection between our locations. All of you on this call today, I know Drew and I, we know exactly what you went through. We did the physical fitness tests. We played against UNF. You know, we busted our ass every single day, right? So we know what you've done, and we're connected even though we haven't spoken yet. So building that past, that connection is really the foundation. But it really doesn't matter unless you're present. If you know what serendipity is, it's that moment where you're like, wait a minute, how did we end up here? It's being in the right place at the right time, but that can only happen if you're present. If I didn't go to church that day, Al Martin would have never been in my life, ever. But I was in the right place at the right time. And that's happened over and over and over because I'm present in the moment, in the day. I you know, focus on what's in front of me, and that's about it. Then, if you don't have something to look forward to, which for most of you is graduation at the moment, some of you are looking for jobs, some of you guys have big plans, big goals, big ideas, but knowing where you want to go actually creates that connection into a relationship. So you can have your past connections. All of us are connected via our past already. We're present because you showed up today. Some didn't, you know, but we're here. Now, what is it going to take for us to get to the next level? It's by knowing where you guys want to go. So if someone wants to be, you know, in Houston, you know a guy now. If you want to, you know, win a championship, you know, we've done it. But it's how do you get that kind of future forward focus in order to make it to the next level? So past, be present, look forward. That is what you do in a networking situation every single time. My cousin, my older cousin, actually told me back in the day, know a little bit about a lot of things. So that when you're out, you meet a girl, you say, hey, and she says she likes to go jet skiing. Well, do you like Yamaha or Suzuki jet skis? Do I know anything about jet skiing? Absolutely not. But I know enough just to keep the conversation going, to keep the ball rolling, and who knows, that girl might end up your wife. Also, I'm a very proactive networker. I took it upon myself when I was fresh out of school, 2012, 2013. I created the Texas Alumni chapter. I realized JU is that big compared to FSU and compared to, you know, UF. But that doesn't mean shit. That doesn't mean you can't network with your alumni, you know, from all different ages, age groups, class years, industries. It's all up to you. So we created the Texas Alumni chapter here in Houston. What is that? 5 people came to my networking event. That's it. But it was in a cool spot. And we met some people. One guy played baseball. One guy actually was an admissions counselor at JU. The 2 on the left were married JU alums from 1984. The guy in the blue shirt, his name is Dave Kerr. I met him initially at an event called Pumps and Pipes. I'm talking to a gentleman, and Dave is literally back to back with me. And I say, hey, you know, Joey Sanchez went to Jacksonville University, played men's soccer. He laughs, turns around and goes, no shit. It's those types of moments when you have no clue who you're going to run into. So Dave turned around and said, hey, I went to JU. I played 1984, and I live in Houston now. And he was at the same conference as I was. And he actually works for NASA, which is awesome. Like, this guy's looking for the next generation technologies to go into space. I've stayed in contact with him. We're actually really good friends. We've built some projects together. But Dave Kerr, again, another guy who's going to be on this, we'll talk about how technology is actually fueling us to the final frontier, past, you know, this earth. And he's building that with the companies that are working around in Houston and NASA. So those serendipitous moments I was talking about, that pass that we had together, which is JU soccer, and happened to be in the same place at the same time, has now continued our relationship forward. And the guy he brews his own beer down in Clear Lake, Texas. He's got a vacation house in Destin. He's 20 years ahead of where I'm at, but we've become best friends, and it's because of our networking and connections. So don't be afraid to create something, create a network, create an opportunity to connect with people, because you never know who you're going to meet. I've met probably 100 plus JU alums here in Houston. The city's 7.9 million people, and I've met 100 plus JU people. Guess what the common thread is? They're all cool. They've all walked through the valley on the way to class. They've all been to Founders, you know, Hall. They've all been to the Kenny Center. This is all that aspect of the past that we become friends much quicker because we have these shared experiences. I'm also very proactive online. You know, past, present, and future, networking is changing. It's not just handshakes and business cards. That's actually not the case anymore. Okay? Online, I'm guessing, I mean, hell, I wasn't there for online dating. I missed that boat by a few years. But I'm guessing online dating, Tinder, whatever your Bumble, you know, whatever your thing is, no different between online dating and networking. Here, I've actually got the Jacksonville University page open. Any of us can go on this. And so I do it all the time. I go on, we actually have about 5 employees for Apple. We have 1 for Google. I'm trying to create connections with people at tech companies. And if they're a JU alum and I'm a JU alum, we have an instant connection. As you see here, 23,942 alum are on LinkedIn right now. You guys are going to be a part of that as soon as you graduate, but it breaks it down even further. This is what databases do, right? They showcase whether they're from Jacksonville. 9,204 from Jacksonville. The next largest concentration is Atlanta. So if you want to go to an area that has jobs, tech, and you know, JU alums, Atlanta is a really good spot. Also, where do they work? So if you want to search by U.S. Navy, Baptist Health, there's 112 JU alums that work for Bank of America. If you're interested in banking, Drew, aren't you? He's one of them. I knew. But I mean, hell, his career has taken him. He lives in Chicago now, like inside the loop, awesome place, awesome, you know, city, and Bank of America took him there.
We had to move, Joe. 600 square feet wasn't cutting it during COVID, so we bought a house near Wrigley Field. Still Chicago.
I'd go catch a Cubs game, you know.
Yeah,
but
it starts in 20 minutes.
Well, I'll wrap it up quickly for you then. But no, that's exactly what it's all about. Is he's one of those 112 for Bank of America. I don't know how many are in Chicago, but it's easily searchable. There's 185 in Houston. And I've reached out to every single one of them. And I've actually met some of the coolest people. Some are 10 years ahead of me. Some are 2 years out of college. And to make this connection, this common bond between Jacksonville University, this small, private, liberal arts university that, you know, not very many people know about, especially you international students, go back to Stockholm. you'll probably have about 12 to 15 JU alums. Promise you. I know half of them. I mean, it's like that. It's an international school, and 15 people may not be a lot, but you have a very, very strong bond between those 15 people because you guys went to the CAF, even though the CAF is so much better than where it was back in our day. I don't even know what you guys have nowadays. I mean, you have a river house. I actually paid for half of it. No, not half, but some of it. I've got a beer mug with my name on it. So if you guys are ever at the river house and you want to check it out, if you're over 21, maybe I'll let you use mine. But speaking of, it's not just about business. I met this pretty girl at Soho, which it was on University back in the day. Drew can tell you about those nights. But we were at the bar, walked up to her, said, "Hey, my name is Joey. I'm from Texas." That was my pickup line, because most of you have been to Texas, know somebody from Texas, or at least heard of Texas. Well, she did. And she said, "Oh, I'm from Houston too." I was like, that's it. That's the past. That's the connection. We were both there at JU together. We got to commiserate about how small the school was compared to our friends going to Texas A&M, University of Texas. And we ended up saying, "Hey, let's hang out some more, especially when we go back to Texas." Well, 9 years later, two kids later, we're rocking and rolling downtown. Got an awesome view. I actually got a view of Minute Maid Park right here. I don't know if the Astros are playing at home today, but it's one of those things. Networking is not just about business. It's about personal relationships. It's about your future. I mean, you got this opportunity. Learn from it, use it, and try to connect with people via their past. But you got to be present. If I didn't go to Soho that night and have practice early the next morning, just kidding, then maybe it's not. I don't know. I can't really remember. But I mean, that night I said hi. We were present that day. We talked about the future. Game over. Past, present, future. So I do hope the best for you guys. If you're in a relationship now, wait till your senior year, because you don't want to be tied down. Speaking of time, and where's your time? Where do you guys focus on in college? You got to draw it out. You got to draw out the pie. Where do you segment your time? Your time is the only precious resource you have. There really isn't anything else that can't be, recreated except for time. And so you have to enjoy your time while you're there. You have to work your ass off, win a championship. I'll be the first one to come, if you guys make the NCAA tournament, I'll fly. I'll go wherever you guys end up, and I'll be there, because, time is precious and moments matter. So divide up your time. Where do you spend your time? It dictates your network. Soccer, work, that's usually what takes up most of your time. School, learning, be a constant learner. Don't stop, just after college. The modern economy doesn't care about humans. It cares about humans that learn and can adapt. I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's a lot of jobs that have just been axed. And so you have to adapt, you have to learn. Social events, use parties, use events as opportunities to network, to practice this past, present, and future aspect. And then have hobbies and interests. How many of you are boring? You better not be. Like, you need to have something that adds value. When you're at a social event, learn something new. I've got a project called Blue Tile Project. You have the URL right there. You can go check it out. Is it my day job? No, but it's a really cool ass project that's connecting the city through vintage street signs. And now I sell them $20 a letter. So I'm making some side money, but that's my hobby. That's my interest. And then the rest of the pie takes up with time, with family, work. Don't play soccer much anymore. I tore my Achilles 3 years ago. Sucked. But I watch it every Sunday and Saturday. Premier League starts up. We have a fantasy Premier League with my group of JU soccer friends from back in the day, and we talk shit to each other every week as it goes up and down the table. So that's a hobby, that's an interest, but draw your pie. figure out what you guys really care about. Your time's going to dictate it most often. So what I want to find out, give you guys a little bit of time. What's your story? You know, what's your, I actually looked at the record books. I saw they updated it, which is good. Looked back at our team, see where we ended up. Got a few records in there. Again, where's my goalkeepers? Because got some work cut out. If you can up me on the records, I'd love to see it. Number of shutouts, goals against average, good times. But you know, what's your story? I know Zach and Inti, I know where they're from, but I want you guys to take a little bit of time, document your story. Take a freaking pen and paper, write down what makes you you. You've already done this, or else you would never have got to where you are with JU soccer. Coach Mao has to know, you know, your story, because he's not going to just bring any slouch or a good soccer player. You have to have the whole packet, right? So document your story. What makes you you? That's very important when networking. That past, I mean, every time I go into somewhere, I mention Jacksonville University. I mention, you know, all the different aspects that makes me me. Because elevator pitch, you guys know what an elevator pitch is. Your 30-second commercial, you know, and the time it takes for an elevator. You probably heard this, yada, yada, yada. You don't realize how true it is. I live on the 26th floor of a high-rise in downtown. And in that elevator, I'm able to get out just enough of my past and be present enough to where it could be a valuable connection that changes my life. Because what are you guys looking to do? You know, you're trying to make a lot of money, have a lot of impact, you know, win at life, whatever that means. You know, is that family? Is that, you know, a house in Denver? I don't know. But you have to write your own future. So, you know, share where you're going, build and, you know, give something to that connection so that it builds off to the next time. So actually, I mean, I want you guys to think about this right now. Take 30 seconds. Document your story. Like, I bet Coach Mao has it. I know he played UCF, right? Or coach at UCF. Both.
Both, yeah.
See? I've been to Orlando. I know Orlando, nice. You know, it's a great place. He's been coaching JU since 2014. He's had some success. Some teams make it to the finals. I've been watching, you know, all along. And that's that story that you guys have to have down pat. And you have to condense it down into 30 seconds. And so in order for me to give a shit about, you know, our future together, I want to know a little bit more about you guys. I want to find out what you guys want in your life, in your future. And I'm pretty sure I have someone in my network that I can connect you to that could change your life. But if I don't know your story and I don't know your elevator pitch, there's no way in hell I'll be able to help you write your future. So I'm going to pick on somebody right here. I had a friend. It was a friend of a friend of a friend send me a note and say, did you see this dude? St. Thomas High. I went to St. This. It was actually a coworker of my wife's at her company, and said, hey, I just saw this. St. Thomas High School player who's pretty good. You know, he's got a good high school career behind him, has signed with Jacksonville University soccer. Would you go there, Joey? Made this connection before I ever even knew who Zach was. What a great day for Zach. You know, you guys all had this moment where you're, you know, you had this moment in high school where it said, all right, I'm going to college, signing day. So Zach, what's your story, man? You said Maryland, Katy, Heights. Why'd you pick JU?
Oh, man. Honestly, the first thing I saw was family. Family's a big thing for me. And like my dad, so me and my family are not really like always. So my dad either in Denver or away. So me and my family are always split up. It's like teammates is very big. So teammates is like my family. So when everybody here, I could, like you say, the same thing. I could already have 1,000 stories with everybody here. And I can't wait for the next stories for a couple of years. And I think it's a big impact for me to have a good family to be there for me when I need them at all times.
Awesome, man. Who's the blonde next to you? Is that your sister?
The one next to me, that's my ex. Cheated on me. It's not good.
Hey, thanks for the reminder, Joe. Thanks for the reminder.
Ooh.
Too soon,
And that
Joe.
got
Too
away.
soon.
You know, you still, yeah. Sorry, man. That's rough, but you know that like so family is important to you,
Yes,
and
sir.
creating bonds that last forever. You got what 25, 30 teammates in JU. You've got the opportunity. What else happened? How did Coach Mao find you? What did you guys do? Like how did that end up?
I was actually very blessed because I started playing soccer very late, and thankfully my last we had the Disney Showcase. Coach Tom saw me first. I remember that. He said he watched me my first game. I played well, and then Coach Mouse said he needs to come watch the second game. I met him just from there. Like honestly, that was the only school that gave me the opportunity, and I had to take it.
That's awesome. Hey, look, past Alliance, I literally have the exact same story. I was in North Carolina for the North Carolina Showcase, and Mike Johnson of the day came over. He saw me and Jonathan Jackson, JJ, and after the tournament, he goes, "Hey, I want both of you. My senior goalkeeper's graduating. You got a spot waiting for you." It was the only opportunity I had at D1. I had D2, I had D3 colleges. I had local, down in San Antonio, but it didn't matter. Like I wanted to go play D1, and I wanted to go to the NCAA tournament. That was it. And in 2009, having that opportunity to go to the NCAA tournament, man, if you guys want to feel something special, that's where it's at. It's right there. When you have that selection show on ESPN and, you get paired up with Louisville and everyone's cheering and no one believes you're going to beat them. And then you do, like, that's what it's all about. Like, you have these stories and like these moments that bond people together. That's the past. That's what college does. That's what these opportunities. You have a St. Thomas High School network, and actually it's a pretty lucrative one. Got a lot of people there that have friends of friends of friends to help you get to the next stage in your career. So it sounds like you sent your resume to coach and staff. I wrote this out without even knowing you, and you're not done because you're only a sophomore. So you still have 2 more years left, but then you have a whole life of being a JU alum, and that's for every single one of you. I got a little side story to share with you guys. Anybody know this hand symbol? Right? The flipping the fins or whatever they call it now. I created that. And I'm not bullshitting you. It was back in 2008. We were, here's the backstory to it. I'm from Texas. I've told you that 100 times already. And in Texas, they have the Texas Longhorns and the Texas A&M Aggies. Put them together. That's how it started, literally. So tell your friends, whatever. And I mean, we had fun with it. We started it up. Now it seems to be quite a thing, but it's that nonverbal communication that really helps bond people as well. There I am, college, great time in my life. I was student body president back in the day. I used Obama's ObamaCon because it was 08. And it was a really good campaign. Wearing my Jacksonville soccer shirt. And, what I want you guys to think about is what's next. What are you doing after college? Like, don't wait. Don't wait till your senior year. That's why Coach Mal's doing this. Because if you're a freshman, get your shit together. Make it work. I worked for the Jacksonville Jaguars, I think my senior year. Season ticket sales. It was a paid internship. I was able to make $25,000 in a summer. College kid with $25,000 wasn't bad. So I use that as an example of figure it out now. Don't wait until you're graduated to figure out what's next. Start building your network. Start building your career now. Know where you want to go. Because here's my career timeline. I worked for 3 companies. National Oil of Arco, Fortune 500 oil and gas company. I actually got the job without submitting a resume. One of the dads from my youth soccer teams watched my career at JU. He had always seen what we were doing. I kept him updated, every summer. And as soon as I got home, I had a job in management, a management trainee. So I got to go to every piece of the business within my first 2 years of the job. Now, it wasn't always fun, but made $75,000 coming right out of college. Not a bad job. After 5 years, went to Greater Houston Partnership. I wanted to change my career. Oil and gas slipped. My salary slipped because oil and gas kind of hit a cliff. And so I joined the Greater Houston Partnership. It was actually a goalkeeper for my brother's childhood team. I said, hey, let's go get lunch. Let's talk about, what the Greater Houston Partnership is. And it literally sent me on a career path of what my dream job is now, is Houston Exponential. I had always told people I wanted to be more in tech and innovation, and that opportunity opened up and doubled my salary and actually doubled my workload. And it gave me this opportunity to work in tech and promote Houston and be a part and network. So, when you look at your career, I had no clue I was going to be at these 3 companies, but I allowed my network to open and create my future because I was open to it. I knew where I wanted to go. Where do I want to go next? If any of you guys can help me out, I'd love it. I want to get more into the final frontier. We're building a spaceport here in Houston. You guys are over there near Johnson Space Center. You may know of a space startup. Space Fund is a venture capital firm here in Houston who is investing in space startup companies. SpaceX, you all maybe have watched the launches here in, what was that, a month or 2 ago? Sent up the 2 astronauts. I want to be a part of this. I think that this is the most exciting, industry in the world. So I share that with you because I know where I want to go. I've told you my past. I'm present with you today, and I want to go to space. I don't want to be an astronaut, but I want to go. Space tourism is actually a thing. The guy who owns Motel 6 is building a motel in space. I want to be a part of that. I want to see what happens. So I share that with you guys because I have big dreams. I'm not done. Had a little tough time coming out of college, retooling what my goals and aspirations were. But over the last 10 years, I've found that space inspires me, looking up, getting excited about, what's to come. And so I want to go to space. I want to be a part of the space industry. And if you guys know anybody, let me know. So put that networking into action and find out what's next for you. Your network really will help you find what's to come. It will be a person, and a place that says, hey, I know a guy that, is in that industry or has a job opening. And that's really going to propel you to the next level. Soccer is easy. You know how to win. If you score more goals than you let in, you win the game. Career is not like that. There is no win or lose. No one's keeping score. It's up to you. And so the more people, the more connections you have around you, the better it is, so that you can progress and grow and get bigger in the way you want to get bigger in your life. So I really do want to thank you guys to, have that moment of past, present, future in your, in networking. Utilize this, whether you're out trying to meet a girl or trying to strike an internship or a new job. It's very valuable. I invite you guys all to reach out to me. Got my cell phone there, email, and my LinkedIn. Always happy to help, no matter where you are, and go from there. So with that, I want to say thank you guys. That's the house that I was talking about. Guess how I found it? I was in Publix wearing a JU soccer shirt. Guy stops me and says, hey, you play JU soccer? Yep. I've got a house. I need it rented out. $1,000 a month work for you? Yep. 4 roommates? Not bad. Some of the best times, I can see Drew smiling.
That place should be condemned.
Hey, maybe it's burned down. I don't know.
I think it's a museum now.
Yeah. I'm not even sure how that place is still standing.
I looked it up. I think it's for on the market. It would go for about $72,000, which, all right, I'll buy it one day.
Is that worth all your memories there, JoJo?
Oh, man. Good times. Great
Well,
old
Joe, I appreciate it. I think a couple guys might have a couple questions, but just off of one of the things that you said during your time in college, kind of want to ask you, how important you think seeking mentorship during your time in college and then mentorship after college and some of your networking connections, how important you think that is for you, for the process of networking?
Man, it's the easiest way to unlock decades of knowledge and expertise. Like, and like find someone that looks like you, acts like you, but it's just 20 years older. It's actually very flattering to say, hey, would you be my mentor? You know, it's actually not as easy as you think because you have to show up. I've had about a handful of mentors throughout my career. Been very active about going and getting them. One had me write a contract, said, we meet once a month for 30 minutes, no less. Okay. He also had something he wanted from me. He said he wanted to utilize Houston Exponential as a platform to get his business out there. So that tech rodeo I told you guys about, got him as a speaker. He did a 2-hour seminar on his business in front of about 200 potential customers. So mentorship is very valuable. I've been a mentor to three people here in Houston. One of them, past JU alum. He ended up in Houston, didn't know anybody, gave him pretty much the keys to my network, and now he's wheeling and dealing with everybody in downtown Houston and beyond. So mentorship is valuable, and it takes the extra effort to reach out to them. But if you guys practice in college, it's much easier because everyone pities college kids because you don't know anything yet. You might, but they give you a lot of redos. Once you get out into the career world, they're gonna, you have to watch out a little bit more, but college is a perfect time to get a mentor because it really does give you that practice for when it comes to the real game.
Did you tap into some of those opportunities during your time in college, whether it's with the professor, faculty, or any staff member on campus, to maximize those opportunities for you on your way out?
Yeah, professors, that's just a built-in mentor network, essentially. Like, I would actually recommend going outside of the university for mentorship. Like, especially if you're staying in summer school, finding, internships and latching on to, the hiring manager and saying, hey, thank you for the internship. Can I learn from you as well, through off the record kind of sessions on, career development, much like this. But mentorship is very valuable. Professors, they have, unless they've got business experience or outside university experience, you don't want to get latched on to just an academic or just a corporate. You have to have like that diverse group, depending on what you guys want to do as well. That's the other thing, is how do you want to, spend your life, your career? Is it in music? Because if it's in music, you got a JU alum in New York who knows his shit. If it's in tech, if it's in banking, if it's in investment banking, if it's in nursing or exercise science, it's all there. You just have to find the people and unlock it.
Awesome. Anyone have any questions regarding the presentation or anything else that you might want to ask Joey?
In terms of, like you said, online networking, what do you think would be the best way to go about that? Would it be going through LinkedIn, or would it be more, I guess, a better way to go about it would be email or phone? Like if they have a phone number listed, would that be the best way? Or
Sure. LinkedIn is like, it's pretty much giving you the resume, right?
Yeah.
So searching by university, searching by common interests. Like, again, if you take that approach from past, present, and that present module is literally on LinkedIn, you hit the connection button and it will ask for an introduction sentences or something like that.
Yeah.
And you say, hey, looks like, you live in XYZ. Hell, like what would be it all depends on who you're going after. Like who do you want to be a part of your network? If you want Bill Gates to be a part of your network, probably not going to happen. But if you want someone at Microsoft, it's possible. You can easily get someone from Microsoft who played soccer. or lived in Jacksonville or worked for, a like type of company. So I
Yeah.
think LinkedIn is the best way because it gives
Okay.
you pretty much the keys to the past.
Okay.
I mean, hold on. Here's an example that most of the guys probably know. You ever stalk, you meet a girl, you're like, hey, what's up? How's it going, girl? You doing all right? Yeah. Later that night, you're like, oh, nope. Looked at all the photos, just not going to work for me. Looked at her past, essentially. There's no difference in networking. You have to know people's past in order to build that trust, that foundation.
Yeah.
And if you didn't do that, guys, then you're dumb because you might end up with a crazy. But yeah, I would say use the tools that are available to you when it comes to networking, and just, be as sincere and open and honest as possible. Don't make, too much up.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else have a question for Joey?
Yeah, I have a quick question.
What's up?
So would you happen to remember the name of the church that you went to, like your first week that you met that guy at by chance?
Yeah. It's Christ the King. It's off of Arlington Expressway.
Oh, okay.
And not the one right across the street from JU. That one's like Assumption or Ascension or something like that. I'm Catholic, born and bred, grew up Catholic. It was like one of those things that I was like, all right, go check out a church. Sunday, actually found a few teammates of mine that were into the same thing, and it actually was a good thing to get away from college for a little while. And so yeah, Christ the King, Al Martin, still there. He's part of the Knights of Columbus, which is another affinity group, and he got me into it. I kind of stayed with it, not really, but yeah, I mean, it's what you make it, right?
Yeah, my brother-in-law actually pastors a church on Arlington, so I was just
Oh, no way.
a crazy coincidence, but I was just wondering if it would have happened to be the same
That'd been
church.
awesome.
So, really cool. Yeah.
Tom, Eduardo, Reed, Salvi, Louis, anybody else? Enrique, what's up? Cool. Any other questions, guys? I mean,
Well, Joe, I have one more.
Yeah.
How do you connect the life after college on your transition from college graduate to the real world, from their high school time to college? Like that transition in the recruiting process and now in the networking process, how important is it for you to be active in that process, much like you were in the recruiting, and now you have to do a little bit of the self-marketing as well?
it's like, I mean, high school to college is like, I'm going to use it's like USL versus MLS. Kind of the same, a little bit different. Going from college to career, it's like going from MLS to the NBA. Not even Premiership. It's not even the same sport. You're not even working in the same realm. Like, and I don't want to scare you, but shit's tough.
That's the reality.
Like, you're not working against other college athletes who are in the sport of soccer. You're in the same age range of 4 years. You're working against people with 10, 20, 30 years experience from all walks of life. And I hate to say it, but it's not going to get any easier. With this whole COVID work from home, people don't realize I'm not competing against Houstonians anymore for the same jobs. I'm competing against people in America. I'm competing against world, so we're talking about 7 billion people now. So high school to college was easy, guys. College to career, you're in a whole nother game with no rules, really no guidelines, whether out of bounds, inbounds. Other than the law, there is no real blueprint. So it's through mentorship, it's through networking to find your way. Like, it really is. So, definitely reach out. Happy to help with any of you guys. And if I can't help you personally, I know somebody who probably can. So if you're, how many are seniors? Raise your hand. No seniors?
And we have three. Two of them weren't able to be on the call today because they had a class project.
No worries. But I mean, don't wait till your senior year to get your shit together because it's going to be too late. So focus on, and soccer's over for 90% of you guys. Like, I hate to say that as well. Like, you all want to go play professionally. The reality is, I mean, we had on our team Tony Taylor. That was it. And he's now done, and he's only 33, 32. So you got to focus
Tommy
on your
as well.
Huh?
Tommy spent 2 years with FC Dallas.
Ah, yeah. Now look at him. Kidding. Tommy's a good guy. But no, it's true. So as much as you want to play pro, I want you to reach for those bars, but realize that it may not be attainable for everybody. So focus on your network, focus on, your career, and best of luck, guys. And best of luck this season. I know it's been pushed, but focus on getting better and working out together and win some games. If not, I'll let you know. I'll be commenting on social.
Well, Drew, before we let Joey off the hook here, anything that you want to add to kind of compliment him or just to kind of add on to the conversation?
No, I mean, Joey hit it right on the head. I mean, he and I are a lot alike. I've noticed the master networker at work, I'm always trying to connect people, whether it's LinkedIn. And I mean, I think on the mentorship side, just have multiple. Don't limit yourself to one. I mean, one of the things that I have tried to do throughout my career is create a board of directors, so to speak. So, don't just limit yourself to one person and formalize it as a mentor, depending on where you're at in life. Right now you may have a professor that's helping you navigate college. You may have a business person. You may have a religious leader or someone in philanthropy. So, just don't limit yourself to a sole mentor. Create a board. You can fire your board members if they're not doing well. And then just really enjoy the rest of this time, because like Joey said, man, getting out of the real world sucks, and you're going to miss, you're really going to miss just being with everyone. I mean, people ask me what I miss about being a college athlete, and the games are great, but it's also just like sitting in your room, hanging out with your friends. And, you're never going to be around a more, diverse group of people in your life. And, that's something that I've taken, into my world now. Aside from my job, I'm super involved with, various charities and philanthropic organizations. So, I just enjoy it. I mean,
yeah.
The real world's not as scary as I think a lot of people think, but it's definitely an adjustment when it's an adjustment. Start planning.
It's a big adjustment.
Yeah.
It hit me like a ton of bricks.
But I will say, the last thing I will say is, even to this day, I've been at 2 firms in my, 13-year career, and I was just interviewing for a job, 2 years ago. And the one thing that they focused on was the fact that I was a Division I athlete. They were like, the best employees are usually, former athletes and or, military and whatnot. Because I think you realize what you're taking away from being a college athlete, studying on planes, studying at 1 a.m, figuring out a way just to get shit done. It really resonates with employers. And, for me, I'm biased, but if I see a resume, I always prioritize, military and athletes, just because I know what they went through and I know that they're going to get shit done. So, really hone in on that and take a lot of the qualitative things from college. I remember sitting in class with ice packs all over my body, like figuring out how to do stuff when you're dead tired, when you don't have time. And, those are the things that are really going to help you in life.
Awesome, Drew. I appreciate you adding on to that. And Joey, I think this was extremely valuable. Thank you for being the first of our alumni spotlight. Hopefully the guys got a lot out of it. We'll find out by the end of the week, because as the guys know me well enough, we don't ever do anything just for show. There's going to be a follow-up on this. I'm going to be asking for some takeaways. And if some of you guys haven't figured out yet, we might be asking for your elevator speech at some point during this week or the next couple of weeks. Because this is extremely valuable information that many of us don't get to hear until we've hit our head a couple of times, right? When we kind of get into and transition into the real world, maybe then we seek some kind of networking seminar on how to promote yourself. And so a lot of you guys are getting that information ahead of time, and not only getting that information, but just in 2 fellow alumni here are making themselves available to you to kind of tap into their network, So automatically, not only you have a JU network, now you have Joey's network and you have Drew's network and so forth and so on as we continue this process. So really be mindful of it, especially some of the guys that are thinking a little bit more because your time is coming in the next couple of years. And we do hope that you pursue all of your dreams that you've had for a long time. But in case you don't, there's some tangible opportunities here as well that you can continue your career and you can still have a lot of success and you can still maybe adjust your trajectory and still be extremely happy and have a successful career. So this is great, Joey. I really appreciate your time here, man. This is recorded. We're going to edit this a little bit. But before we leave, can everyone get their, is it your right hand, Joey? Your left. Well, on the screen, it might be a little bit weird.
There you go.
And then Mike, if you can take a screenshot when you can do that. If everyone get their left hand up and your fingers are facing out. So look at Joey's finger. So yeah, there you go, Reed. There you go, Sal, your other left hand.
Okay. There you go. Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Joey, I appreciate it. Drew, I appreciate it, man. Go watch your Cubs play. Okay.
All right, guys. Thanks, y'all. And Zach, hope to see you in Houston one day, man.
I'll actually be back for Thanksgiving, so maybe we can meet up then.
Yeah, man. Got you covered.
Of course.
Later.
Right. Yes, sir.
Awesome, Joey. Appreciate it, man.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Take care. Thanks, guys. See you guys tomorrow.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.